Welcome to the We Win Injury Law podcast. I'm Tyler Todd, your host, sitting here with my co-host, Jaren, the Snow Canyon Man Sandberg.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, good afternoon to you, fine sir.
Well, it's from that Will Ferrell. Good afternoon.
Look, today's episode, we're going to talk about a little bit about We Win Injury Law, who we are, why we do what we do, and frankly, why we became lawyers, which is, I think, at the root of everything, the soul of what we are, who we are, and why we do what we do. And I've been asked this question a lot lately.
Yeah.
Do you like what you do, and why are you doing this? Why are you trying to grow so much? I've had a lot of friends, and I respect them. I think they're fine. They're like amazing business entrepreneurs. They're awesome, and they keep asking me, "Why are you doing that? This seems stressful."
I get that question a lot too.
In the context, because we're growing. We're a law firm that has multiple offices throughout the city of Utah, but we started in St. George with one office. Now we have 4, and we're putting another 2 up north here in the next quarter.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we are growing. We have this vision to grow. And so the question has been asked numerous times, why are you doing that? Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
What? And so I asked, let me start with you. Why are you an injury lawyer?
Well, and I guess first it's kind of informative. Why am I a lawyer even in the first place? And
Hello, sir.
yeah. Hello, fine gentlemen. But I think a lot of it comes back to your upbringing, your childhood, I think is informative for, we all grew out of that phase when we want to be a firefighter or an astronaut. Were you firefighter or a police officer? Most people wanted to be, kind of a firefighter, police officer.
Neither.
No?
Neither.
And then astronaut. They're basically the same thing.
I mean, maybe astronaut. Well, okay, fair. I grew up in Florida. Well, I didn't grow up in Florida, but I lived in Florida. I was in Florida. Sorry, I don't want to take away from your answer because your answer already.
We got plenty of time.
Your answer already sounds brilliant. Yep. However,
it was brilliant.
I was in Florida, outside, watching when the Challenger blew up.
Really?
Because every time a space shuttle was launched, we would all go outside and watch the space shuttle from outside. And so I vividly remember being outside and watching the shuttle blow up. And then all the, I think everyone, as little kids, I think we were like, whoa, that's so cool. And I think all the teachers were like, everybody.
And wasn't the Challenger one that actually sent a teacher? Wasn't there a teacher on it?
There was a teacher, which is also one of the reasons why we always did it. But there was a lot of excitement,
hype about a teacher
around it because we were outside. I think I was in 4th or 5th grade, outside where the Challenger blew up. It was wild.
Now, did that cure you pretty quick of wanting to become an astronaut?
That's why I don't remember. I think I didn't want it. After that, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No.
Why do you want to be a lawyer?
I
wanted to be a fireman or a policeman,
fireman,
or
police officer, astronaut when I'm little. And then, my dad's an engineer. My mom's a school teacher. So, obviously
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
I wanted nothing to do with being an engineer. I was terrible at math. So naturally, I found myself.
I think being an engineer is really cool.
I think engineers invent stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Now, the type of engineer my dad is, maybe I'm not going to say this is like the coolest job ever, but shout out to Dad. He seemed to like it. It fits his personality. But I knew that I wanted to do something that, one, was hard to do, which I knew becoming a lawyer wasn't going to be easy. But then I really wanted to do something that, kind of at its core was helping people. And I had people in my neighborhood, a couple of attorneys that later judges, where I looked at those people and thought, okay, maybe not a doctor, because you kind of put doctors on pedestals, and I think, rightly so, doctors are amazing. But I saw that attorney and went, okay, he seems like he's got a good career, support his family. He did have a pool, which in St. George, Utah.
Get a pool?
That guy in the neighborhood with the pool. In my neighborhood, there's only 3 pools in the whole neighborhood. You were like,
baller.
Look, baller. Okay. So that was informative, at least becoming an attorney. And then, to be honest, becoming a personal injury attorney fell in my lap. Tyler knows me and Tyler have been working together now for coming up on 10 years, our 10-year anniversary. So I expect, what's the 10-year anniversary?
Is that this year or next?
It's this year in October.
It's this year in October. Oh my gosh, pressure.
So Tyler,
I'm going to do something nice for you.
yeah, isn't it? Well, what's the anniversary for? Like, is it wood? There's a diamond. There's all these different things that you
For
get
10 years, it's
for
like
10 years.
it's like an extra day off or something.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying they don't do anything for work, but for putting up with you and you putting up with me, we should definitely celebrate. There should be something.
It'll be like a nice dinner.
But really, it was, I was looking for a job. I kind of graduated after, kind of post-recession, and we had a big spike in attorneys. And so how did I become a personal injury, and why did I pick personal injury? Was really because Tyler gave me a job almost 10 years ago, and I've never regretted it ever since.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. That's kind of you.
So
it's going to be a really fancy dinner now.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. One time, me and Tyler...
I don't know why they died you.
One time me and Tyler went to a conference. This is going back a year ago, but we had a 45-day dry aged steak. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
I remember it like it was yesterday. No, maybe that's what we do for
it
the
was
10
a good
year.
steak.
It was
we'll
a good
do the
steak.
10
year
aged steak.
dry aged. Maybe not 10 year, but
no, I got a little.
We'll do something like that. So yeah.
No, that's good, and I think that's if you're listening to and watching the We Win Injury Law podcast, I think it's something that's relevant because I think at some point we're all asking ourselves, what do I want to do next, or what am I doing now, and am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Is this what I wanted to do?
Well, you bump into people that you're like, they're almost looking for the next best thing, right? Like, oh, I'm doing this now, but like hopefully in 5 years I'm doing something else. And when I look at like my next 5 years, and I think you're the same way, like I want to be doing this. I like doing this.
Yeah, I want to keep doing what we're doing and do it better, right? We're growing, we're learning, we get better every day. I never wanted to be like a firefighter, or a policeman, or an engineer.
Always you're going to get a bunch of firefighter and police officer hate on.
I have a lot of great friends that are all of that. Much respect. I mean, what you guys do for us, and not just my friends, but look, firefighters, policemen around the country, around the world, I have utmost respect and thank you for all your service. And
they do our police reports and stuff for our accident cases. So,
oh my gosh! Well, they protect us. They
do everything.
I mean, they do everything. I mean, let's be so for real. They're amazing. I just, for whatever reason, I just never was like, oh, I'm going to put like a gun in my holster, like, and you're arrested. I mean, I just never did that. Now, I did want to be like a pilot, but both my grandfathers were World War II, and actually like three, I guess technically it's kind of a weird story, but were all World War II fighter pilots.
Yeah.
I had a grandfather that flew over Tokyo, bomber, and I had a grandfather that was a pilot over the Pacific.
Well, and your dad and a brother that
military,
are
my brother's
military,
and so Air Force and Navy, and so so military was kind of always in my mind. That
did you guys ever live on base, or was it always off base because you had a
no?
family?
We never lived on base. My parents were very adamant about not living on base because they felt like they wanted to give us as much of a normal upbringing as possible, like not military brats. You hear that all the time, probably like, oh, you're a military brat. I've heard it my whole life.
Yeah. No one ever called me that.
No. Yeah, probably a lot of other things, but no. But yeah, always a military.
Mostly
brat.
ginger jokes.
Ginger, yeah, I can see that. We'll get into that later. But
you thought maybe
I wanted to maybe go into the military, but my dad's his story was a little different because my grandfather graduated number one in his class from the School of Business at Harvard.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I always had like this, like, I want to be like my grandfather. I want to be entrepreneur. I don't know what he did, right? I knew that he owned Baskin-Robbins stores because my dad owned Baskin-Robbins stores, and he owned apartment complexes.
Plus, our grandpa's like the best, though, for like when you're growing up. Like
my papa was like the best, right?
Yeah.
He was so funny. He was so he was just the best.
So you put him up on that pedestal anyways.
But then, crazy enough, and this is not what we're talking about, when my grandfather died, my grandmother was amazing. Because when she kind of finally came out of her shell and kind of like, I don't know, it's a generational thing maybe.
Yeah.
My grandmother was amazing. And then we actually became really close. So
but that was informative on those years for you again.
Well, yeah. And I was like, kind of those years of like, whoa, my grandfather was cool, but my grandmother's cooler. Like she was amazing. But anyways, so my dad, I think he kind of wanted to follow in the footsteps, right? Entrepreneur, do all the things that my grandfather was doing, but he just didn't like it. Right, it wasn't fulfilling to him, and so then he went back to dental school and became a dentist. And so he did it via the military. Yep. So he went the Navy route, and so then for years, right, I wanted to be a dentist.
Yep.
I want to be like my dad, be a dentist, and maybe do the whole dental thing. And then this is why I went to law school. Why I became a lawyer. So my freshman year at college, and everyone I think has freshman year like in college stories, and
Well, and yours is even different than probably most of America's freshman year of college because you also go to an ultra conservative.
well, yeah, I grew up Mormon, so I mean, very Mormon, very conservative. Went to a
And your dad's military, so even more.
military, right? So, and again, we didn't live on base, so we were, not so military. So, but he's military.
But you knew, yeah, he's military.
Yeah. And he came home in uniforms, and
Yeah.
he's a dentist, but he's still military. So, but yes, I went to a very conservative Mormon college,
Which doesn't even exist anymore in its current form, name change and
different things. It's still there, and in small town Idaho. So there's like nothing to do, right?
And you had come from, where were you living right before? Where did you go to the last 2 years of high school?
I graduated from high school in Silverdale, Washington, Bremerton, Silverdale. See, that's like west of Seattle.
Yeah.
So
big city too.
big city, a lot of fun.
Idaho.
We're taking
farming
ferries over to
community.
downtown Seattle and going to the Kingdom and going and watching Ken Griffey, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I go to Rexburg, Idaho, and no disrespect if you live or around or in Rexburg, Idaho, but
It was a change,
it was a change
to say the least.
to say the least. And I wasn't. It just was a change. Anyways, for whatever reason, my roommates thought it would be a good idea to go raid the home ec room. And my buddy and I were like playing soccer because we were trying to try out for the soccer team. We get picked up in this blue Oldsmobile with a bunch of duffel bags, and they're like, we're going to go raid the home ec room. We're going to go get all this food.
And you're barely 18, freshman
I'm
in
like 18,
college.
freshman in college.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself, that sounds kind of silly, but whatever, right? Let's go raid the home ec room. Like, this is okay, sure. Not thinking, right? Like,
And this isn't like a fraternity playing a prank. You're a bunch of Mormon kids.
No, we're a bunch of Mormon. I mean, no one. There's no alcohol. There's no there's no like.
This is completely sober.
This is like we're not. They're not. This is not a rush, right? We're not like. Trying
isn't
to get
for
into
pledging
fraternities.
or
We're not
whatever.
pledging. This is totally like random. Let's go just take food from the home ec room. Like wild. So we're literally, we're not pledging. We're not rushing, whatever it's called. We're not, no fraternities, no alcohol. We're just completely sober. And we're going to go take food from the home ec room. And I just don't think in my mind that we're about to commit a felony, right?
Because you're 18.
We're 18. We're on college campus. And sure enough, we go to the home ec room. We take duffel bags of food and we take it back to our apartment.
Did you wear a ski mask or anything?
No, that would have been better. I should have, because it turns out some girl would happen to be going and cruising in the hallway and recognized me, and I had no idea.
Wait. She didn't recognize any other guys, but she did recognize you.
That's how they said they found us.
I mean,
I don't know.
hey, this story gets better and better.
It gets worse actually. So next day
Did you ever get her number from the police report and think maybe I'll text her?
No, I wanted to text him, but dirty rat, snitches,
Snitches
Anyways.
get stitches.
Yeah. All right, not stitches, but it felt like anyways. That could go south.
I shouldn't have made a domestic violence joke.
No, never do that.
Never okay.
Never okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so next day, knock, 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 police. Can we check your...
Now, was this the police are outside the islet, run away, or was it just come on in?
No, because we're dumb. We don't know what we're doing. We're sober. We're just kind of like stupid kids. And can we check your freezer and fridge? And we're like...
You instantly
immediately we're like, sure. So again, anybody watching at home, if you are ever presented at the, or not, or if the police ever come to your door and ask to come in, you can say no.
Yeah.
Okay. They have to have a warrant to search your property.
Now,
okay?
did they have a warrant though, or no?
No.
That's great.
We just let them in, which we shouldn't have. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad. I don't want to steal food, so I guess whatever. But we let them in, and of course they charge us with I don't even remember. It was a felony.
Was it because the amount of chicken that was
theft.
stolen?
Yes. Chicken.
Because this was
frozen chicken.
This was prime Rexburg chicken. Apparently,
they're gonna do this big banquet. We had no idea, right? I mean, we just. So we $1,500.
Someone shows up to cook
food.
for their banquet, and they're like, "Where's all the chicken?"
And I was more excited, I think, about the pies we took or something. I'm like, who cares about frozen chicken? Maybe milk, because milk's expensive when you're in college. We were like, took all the milk. We took, I mean, it was silly.
I took all the ramen.
We
Mac and cheese. No. But no, chicken. Frozen chicken.
It was like, hurry, grab the eggs. They're coming. Like,
just dumb.
Shove as much stuff in front of your duffel as you can. And then get out of there, right?
Yeah.
But none of us have really realized. I mean, maybe I had one friend that I think was a little like.
Yeah, that was dumb. He knew it beforehand.
I think he knew he was committing like a crime. I think the rest of us were like, oh, we got frozen chicken and pies. And like, we just did. I don't know. Anyways, so sure enough, they arrest us, right? And we're in the court system.
Did they handcuff you and like escort you out of the building?
Yeah, and out to the police car. I mean, everything.
Isn't it called a paddy wagon when they arrest you?
That would have been even better. If it was a paddy wagon with all of us, at least we could have been like, this is awesome. But no, we were all in individual cars. It was crazy. And like driving away, I remember
sitting any of the police officers even being like, dumb kids.
Dude, I haven't even thought about this till the day of, till just now. I mean, I remember sitting in the back of the cop car being driven away like, I'm being arrested, being driven away from my apartment. This is crazy.
Like at that moment though, at 18, could you even have like appreciated the moment? Like, was it setting in like, I'm in trouble, or was it still like?
Yeah, so when you're in the back of a cop car, you realize you're in trouble.
I know, but even then, I'm just saying, your 18-year-old self, you knew like this is more serious.
I mean,
after
I
they
knew
knocked
at
on
that
the
point.
door.
Yes, at this point, I know that we're in trouble.
Yeah,
and so then we have to hire lawyers and the whole 9 yards, and we're going to court.
Did you get a mugshot taken? Do you remember if they did?
You know, actually, I was sitting here today. I do not remember that.
That's something I wish the internet would find.
I did.
I wish they would find an old mugshot somehow.
Can you imagine?
They had an old mugshot of you.
Look, I would actually pay money for that too.
Yeah.
I'd actually probably frame it.
Yeah.
Because it was monumental in my life.
Yeah.
To help me learn, like, okay, I never want to find myself in the back of a cop car again.
Yeah. That was not the highlight of your freshman year of college.
But we hired a lawyer, and we got through the whole, process. And then, we served a day in jail. And for anyone out there that's listening or watching that's been to jail, it's kind of fun / not really fun.
Yeah.
And I was there with my best friend.
Now, is this like an Idaho small town jail with like 4 cells?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's another thing.
Tyler's not doing like hard time where they like strip down naked and spray you or
why
whatever.
Are you trying, it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was hard time. I know.
It was a hard time. And the guy in our cell, so I'm in with my best friend, which is actually pretty cool.
I was going to say, if you could go to jail with anyone, you want your best friend.
I'm in jail with my best friend. So it's kind of like we're actually it felt like a party.
Yeah.
And the guy in our jail cell was like, what are you guys in here for? We're like, stealing chicken. And he was in there.
Do you think he's thinking like these poor starving kids? Or do you think he was just these dumb kids?
Well, I think he was in there for marijuana or something. And I think he was still kind of high. And I think he thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I remember at the moment, like, you're in here for drugs? Oh my, like I was like, I am a criminal.
Yeah. I'm in here with drug dealers.
For drugs. And it's like, looking back now, like the guy's probably just high. Got caught with a joint or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I remember we were like doing push-ups and doing, the next day.
You were going to get hard during that first day of jail.
We had 24 hours. We had
it was a full day. It wasn't just like a morning to
you
that
can't
night.
Come out looking soft.
Yeah.
So then we had hot dogs and Kool-Aid. And then my sister and her new husband or fiance came to visit me in jail.
Visiting hours, dude,
it was. They're like, Todd, you have a visitor, like in my jumpsuit. And
what color was the jumpsuit? Was it orange one or just
orange? Like orange red, I think. And I remember like visiting with my sister, like with a piece of plexiglass between us. Like I couldn't even look at her.
Did you like have the phone? Was it the phone scene? Like at the end, did you like touch hands? Like remember me?
We probably did touch hands. I think there were some tears.
Yeah.
I don't remember the phone or if it was just like the holes in the plexiglass.
Yeah. Do you think she was like, this is the first of many? My brother's like turned to a life of crime.
Probably did. Like it was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Anyways, that whole process made me realize, one, I never want to do that again.
Yeah.
And I'll never find myself on that side of the law or plexiglass ever again.
Yeah. Only took once.
Took once. And then two, it made me want to be a lawyer because then I was like,
this guy really helped me out.
Help me out.
Do you remember the name of the attorney? Do you remember?
No, I have no recollection. I don't even remember what it looks like. But I do remember. I remember thinking, though, that it was the lowest point in my life, and I felt like there was no chance of survival.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to get out of this, right? I mean, when you asked about, hey, did you ever realize like it was like a big deal? I felt like my life was over.
Yeah.
And so then I realized, all right, never do that again. And 2, I hope I can help somebody like that someday in my life.
Yeah.
Like the way the lawyer helped me.
Yeah.
And getting through that process. And then, of course, the lawyer did a little bit, right? Because we've done some criminal work years and years and years ago. You don't really do that much.
Yeah.
So the lawyer didn't really do it. But my parents, I remember, were like amazing, right? They didn't kill me. So I have to give them credit for that.
Yeah.
And then...
Which then would have landed them in jail.
Right. But but
Smart.
I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to help people. And that's why, 1, that was the most motivating factor of going to law school, is I want to help people, and that experience changed my life. And then 2, I might have been dating a girl at the time I really wanted to press. I'm like, I'm going to law school.
Yeah. Both of those are such noble origin stories.
Well, they're noble stories.
They are.
So that's why I became a lawyer, is because of that experience like changed my life. And so when we talk about
what did you actually did they confiscate all the chicken and return it?
Yeah.
Was there like,
well, I don't know what they did.
Did you have to pay like a pretty big restitution fine or anything? Like, did you guys all end up paying a fine? And
I think we did, because a lot of the food was probably ruined, right? And they didn't want to use it. Stolen goods, like they probably feel bad, like just awkward eating it.
Yeah. Criminals stole this chicken. We're not gonna eat it. It's like religious banquet.
Whatever, like you can't, you cannot use this food. It's tainted.
The officer's going home like, honey, we're gonna have chicken for like a month.
Yeah. They stole it out of the evidence room.
Yeah. All that raw chicken in the evidence room just melting.
I don't know what they did with it, but it did change my life. And so when we're talking about like who we are, what we're doing, a little bit about us. We have 15 staff members. We have 4 lawyers, and we have 4 offices, about to be 6. But this is what we're doing. This is our vision as to why we're growing. We want to help people. We want to change lives the way that, my lawyer changed my life, and you've had experiences in your life that's helped change you and mold you and help, help you become who you are today. And we have more growing to do for sure, and more learning to do. We go to conferences every year, and multiple, to learn more. We try to take as many cases as we can to trial, because we want to prove to these insurance companies, hey, we want justice for our clients. And the only way to get that is put our lawyer hats on and hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
And so as we grow, and as our offices grow and our footprint gets bigger throughout the state, we want people to know that we're passionate about this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why we do what we do. And there might be a little Jerry Maguire in there too, to be honest.
You can't go wrong there.
Show me the money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And then so in law school, I really wanted to be a sports agent, and I wanted to like really go negotiate and advocate for athletes, because I love playing sports and I love sports, and Jerry Maguire is a great movie. So, but that's kind of like being an injury lawyer.
Yeah.
Advocating, negotiating, and getting what's fair for your client.
And whether it's a $15,000 case that you got, someone with a very minimal injuries, you got them justice, or whether it's our $1 million cases, I feel like, there's not really I'm nicer to one or the other. It's I'm helping these people in what's normally their first interaction with an attorney, just like that attorney helped you years and years ago, and what you thought was the rock bottom of your life, and
the worst thing possible.
Right. Now looking back, you're like, oh my gosh, what was I worried about? But at the time, you didn't know that. And I think a lot of our clients probably go through that, like, how am I going to do this? I mean, some of them leave the hospital with $13,000 in bills, and the ambulance took them there, yeah. And now they're, they've left. Again, you're very typical to leave the hospital with $13,000 in bills if you don't have health insurance. And again, that's day one. You're already, how am I going to pay for this? Is the worst day of my life.
Immediately stressed, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say this, and I mean this sincerely, because you just said something that's super important. We see cases from a few $1,000s to millions of dollars, okay? And we handle those cases every day. But I tell you, I sincerely believe this, and I mean this. to that client who has a $5,000 or $10,000 case that seems nominal, and injury lawyers around the country, they all say it because I've heard it from numerous people without me saying it first.
Yeah.
You look at a case that doesn't seem very sexy, right?
Yeah.
It's a small case. But for that person and for that client, it's their only accident.
Yeah.
It is the only accident they know. And for them, it's life-changing. And for me, stealing chicken from the home ec room, and anyone that's listening or watching that's been to jail or done some, some hard time or done some crazy things or stupid things in their lives.
Did we decide yours was a hard time or wasn't hard? It was.
I feel like it was hard time.
It was hard time.
I feel like it was hard
okay.
time.
So anyone that's done hard time.
So anyone that's done hard time, we can appreciate each other.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you might look at that, you might hear my story and say, okay, that's silly. And it was silly. It's not that big a deal. But for me, at that moment in my life, it was life-changing. And I felt like I honestly feel like I was not going to ever make it out or be anything like
I've ruined my life.
Ruined my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for those clients that are, maybe not have the biggest cases, to them it is the biggest thing in their life.
Yeah.
And for them it is a big deal.
And yeah, maybe years later they'll look back at it and say, okay, it wasn't as big of a deal. But
sure.
in the moment.
So we are passionate about making every case, big or small, to make sure that you feel like we've got you. And we know it is, for you, the biggest case or the biggest moment in your life. And that's a big deal to us. So the insurance companies are going to do everything they can to pay you as little as possible. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure you get what you deserve and to win for you.